I think we're all very quick to rush out and blame the publishers every time something happens. I know I'm guilty of it. When Anthem turned out to be a bit crappier than expected, I blamed EA immediately. But then when the Kotaku article came out, and it turns out it was 100% BioWare's fault what happened to Anthem. It's not always the publisher who is the bad guy. EA was not the bad guy in the Anthem story. And once again, I think we kind of hit on that right now when I did my video yesterday talking about Wingman and Rob Irving's company, Descendant Studios, being screwed over by their publisher. Is it true? Well, I had some coffee this morning and I looked into it, and let me tell you what I found out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am Montoya. I got up this morning, had some coffee, and jumped onto testsquadron.com to go see what the comments were saying about the video I made. And there was a comment by Thanatos73 who says, "That really sucks. LO," which is Little Orbit, the publisher, just falls in line with the other publishers out there, implying their bad publishers are bad. I'm sipping my coffee. Delicious. And I said, I'm really curious to hear Little Orbit's side of it. There's always two sides, right? After drinking my coffee, I said, let's dig into this. I've got my internet machine in front of me, and I dived in. Well, this is also posted on Reddit. This was posted by K. Atrius, and the title was, "Why Never Trust Publishers? Descendant Studios, Wingman & Co. are held hostage." Upvoted, he's got referencing all the material I did, and also gave me a shout out. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let us go quickly to the piece. Yes, this is what Wingman posted, and I made the grave error of not being fully informed about this and making decisions without being fully informed. And here is where I glossed over it and went wrong. Now, this is the post where Wingman says he put his life savings into it. Very sad, very bad. And he goes on to say one more thing. Little Orbit wanting to go full arcade in January, meaning release the arcade mode in January of their Descent game, was typical. They were getting builds for months and decided to pivot, as in to not put it out, based upon the lack of sales for Overload. Now, I did not know what Overload was. I didn't know what that meant. Was it a game mode? I had no idea. And I went on and on to blame Little Orbit, the publisher, bad publisher, just ruining things for Wingman. Well, a little bit of Googling turns out a wealth of information. Why did Little Orbit decide to pivot based upon lack of sales for Overload? Let's check out what Overload is. You type in Overload to Google, get playoverload.com, which is this site right here. Revival Productions. Who are Revival Productions? Let's take a look. In 2014, after years of talking about it, we founded Revival Productions and began working on Overload. What is this Overload game they're talking about? Those of you who've been tracking the Descendant Studios productions, their production schedule, probably know this. I did not know about this. I haven't really looked into it until this morning. The core objective with the game is to take the elements of a 6 Degree of Freedom shooter. That sounds kind of familiar because Descendant Studios, Wingman's company, is doing the same thing, is he not? And use modern technology to push Overload to a new level. Huh, okay, so let's dig in a bit deeper. Who are these guys? Well, Mike Kulas, he and Matt Toshlog, meaning this guy, founded Parallax Software. Parallax Software created Descent, the original one. After many years of working in Volation, he's happy to once again be working on a game. Matt started with him. And basically, these are the founder and co-founder of Parallax, the original creators of Descent. Well, that's interesting because they recreated this game called Overload. Let's go to YouTube and see what this Overload game is. And just pull it up. Okay, new 6 Degree of Freedom shooter. Let me just mute the music here. From the creator of Descent, all right. And what? What? Hang on a second. This is a modern take. Look at the particle physics. This is beautiful. Nice lighting, beautiful level design. What is this? Overload, a prototype trailer. And when was this trailer set out? In February of 2016. Hang on a second here. Is this not the exact game that Wingman and Rob Irving are making. Here's the game. So here is where things go wrong immediately. If you are Wingman and Rob Irving and you want to split off from CIG and make your own game development studio, and the game you want to make is Descent Underground, and you name yourself, you committed yourself, the name of the studio itself is Descendant Studios, and you committed to make this game. And then, this is 2015, and then in 2016, in February of 2016, a year later, a company pops up named Revival Productions, and they have a Kickstarter. Let's pull up this Kickstarter. They pull up a Kickstarter in February, and they raise $300,000 from 5,000 backers to make the game that you, Wingman, and Rob Irving wanted to make. Not only that, but they have a full 1 year head start on you. The original creators of Descent Underground have a full 1 year head start on the project you want to make. This is a massive, massive tactical error by Wingman and Rob Irving, committing himself to go up against the original creators of Descent, probably thinking they can beat them to market, even though these guys have a 1 year head start on you and the name recognition. Right there and then, and I know this would have been a very, very tough pill to swallow, that after a year you've left CIG, you committed to make a game, you put in your life savings into it, and in February of 2016, Revival Productions come along and put out this prototype demo showing you the exact game you wanted to make. I don't know. Personally, I would have stopped right there and shifted direction to something else completely. But I know what Wingman was thinking. What Wingman and Rob Irving were thinking was they could beat these guys to market. That is totally what they're thinking they can do. And they didn't. You know what? They took the gamble. So first mistake is thinking that they can do this and beat the other guys to market. Second mistake was not shifting. No, actually, the first mistake is not shifting immediately when they saw this happening, because if this is their prototype, if the prototype looks so great already with level design and everything in there already, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would have done that. So in my last video, I was blaming the publisher, Little Orbit, and also everyone on Reddit saying, don't trust the publishers, Little Orbit, they're screwing over Wingman. And like Wingman's saying here, you know, that Little Orbit is screwing them over because Little Orbit needs to publish his game and they're not doing it. Do you blame the publisher? If you are a publisher and you need to put out your money to market and publish a game, and that game has beaten you to market. The game is out already, right now in market. Well, if I was a publisher, I'd be saying, I don't know, well, let's see how this game does. I mean, this isn't Battle Royale. This is something very unique. Let's see how the game is doing. And you don't need to be a genius to figure it out. You go to steamcharts.com. Let's see how many people are playing. Well, in the last 3 hours today, 3 people have been playing it. Over the last day, 25 people at max have been playing this game. Now, at launch, I'm assuming this big bump here is the launch, there were 263 people playing consecutively. It dropped down immediately, and you can see the numbers. Now, if I was a publisher who was about to put up $2-3 million, I don't know what it costs to publish and distribute a game these days, but it's in the millions. Let's say $1 million. If I was going to put out $1 million to market and distribute Descent Studios' game, which is Descent Underground, and there's a game in the market right now which already exists, which is the exact game which they were working on. And these are the numbers. These are the numbers. In April, there was an average of 12 players a day. In March, an average of 16. In February, an average. In January, an average of 23 people a day. Are these numbers exciting enough to you as a publisher to get you to commit to put out the money to market this game from Descent Studios? And the answer to that is absolutely no. No, like Little Orbit is dodging a bullet big time. They are dodging a bullet by not doing this. Now, I feel terrible for Wingman because they had an agreement And Little Orbit is saying, nope, like, we're not going to do this. We don't want to risk our money. It's clearly not going to sell well. A, the game is out there already, and B, this genre doesn't seem to be overly popular with the gaming community today. So, wow, that sucks. A massive, massive tactical error by Wingman and Rob Irving by not shifting direction when they saw an existing player making the exact game they were trying to make. Not only making the exact game, but the original team getting back together to make the game. Wow. So I feel terrible again for Wingman and Rob Irving, but this is simply a tactical error, completely Wingman's fault from 2016. Because they sat down, they had a meeting about this, and they doubled down, they committed. They said, we're going all in, we're going to do this. And it just didn't pan out. Like, I wouldn't have risked it. And they took a massive risk, A, to create a game, Descent Underground, and B, to continue developing the game after they realized another company, the original founders, had a 1-year head start on them. So, you know what? I can't blame Little Orbit at all here. Now, I don't know the finer details of what the deal is, but if Wingman can get rights back and sell the game on his website and recoup something, maybe he'll make back $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, whatever it is. Hopefully, Little Orbit can do something with that and give him back the rights so Wingman can recoup something of it. But at the moment, it doesn't look like anything really happening. Descendant Studios' website still shut down. So, I had to make that little correction, that little retraction. You know what? I blamed Little Orbit, and everyone on Reddit was blaming the publisher. But in this case, it is not the publisher's fault. Again, I think massive, massive tactical error by Wingman and Rob Irving. Little Orbit, as a company, as a business, is 100% correct in not wanting to risk the marketing and publication of this game, which is clearly going to have a very, very rough time finding players, keeping in mind that what you see here, these people playing this demographic, are not going to be buying the same game. They're already playing the game. So a saturated marketplace, a game already made, and basically a publisher, Little Orbit, dodging the bullet, not wanting to take the risk, 100% understandable. Again, our condolences, Wingman and Rob Irving. Hey, these guys are talented. I know they'll land on their feet. Best of luck to you. But bottom line is not Little Orbit's fault, as I first assumed, and as everyone on Reddit is pointing things also. So with that, let's finish up. If you enjoy this content, please remember to subscribe. Your thumbs up always appreciated. Comments below as always. I'll see you in the next one.